It's all about flow and pace today, qualifying in Qatar, a high-speed test that will set the grid for tomorrow's race. So welcome along.
Standing by. Drop to P20.
Well, the weather is not looking good today. We're expecting the downpours to continue into today's sprint, and this will make for some very tricky conditions for all the teams. So we're going racing around the 3.3 miles of Losail, with 16 turns making maximising grip key to success. But grip will be at a premium today in these wet and treacherous conditions. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Ollie Behrman lines up on pole position. And starting next to them is George Russell. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Perez, Norris, Verstappen, Stroll, Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, Hülkenberg, Albon, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Ocon, Gasly, Bottas, Sargent, and Zhou Guanyu. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And striding into our commentary box to join us today, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. Let's look at their season, and particularly against their teammate. Fair to say they've got the better of them more often than not.
Yeah, they have, and it's, rule number one, beat your teammate. They're the one that share the same equipment as you, and yes, the cars can vary and set up from race to race and depending on who has which style, but essentially they're your barometer, the yardstick. If you can beat them, that's the first job you have to do, and it looks like it's going their way, doesn't it? And they need to carry on this momentum, this energy through the rest of the season.
Okay, mate, this is the last chance, the last race of the season, and we need points to have any chance of taking that all-important Constructors' title. Okay, how was that pull away? You'll have a bit more grip than that on the start, but we need to warm the tyres properly now. Make sure you get some heat into the brakes as well. superb parking there, mate. Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out. Okay, so that's the rest of the grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those lights. Battery charge is high, let's use that overtake button a bit more. Condition still looking good. Okay mate, this is the final lap of the race, final lap. job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
So that wraps up the sprint race, but there's still more action yet to come this weekend. We've got qualifying and, of course, the Grand Prix. It's all about flow and pace today, qualifying in Qatar, a high-speed test that will set the grid for tomorrow's race. So welcome along.
Everyone ready? Okay, let's go.
We're under the lights once again here in Qatar. Last year we took a year off due to a small footballing tournament that was being hosted, but it's all excitement on the track now. We're back here in Lusail for a track that's 3.34 miles long. There are 16 turns around its unique three-prong shape and just a single DRS zone out of turn 16. It's fast and it's flowing, and there's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS down the long straight and into turn 1. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Ollie Bearman lines up on pole position, and Fernando Alonso completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Verstappen, Russell, Norris, Stroll, Hamilton, Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, Albon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Joe, Sargent, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson.
I don't know about you, Ant, but it seems like only a couple of weeks ago we were talking ahead of the first race. Here we are, ahead of the last race. This year has just flown by.
Yeah, a lot of races to cover these days in Formula One, Crofty, as you well know, doing them all yourself. But it's the same for the drivers. It comes at you thick and fast, and you've got to pace yourself as well to get to this point in the season. If it has gone your way, it's a great time to just enjoy it. There's nothing that can change in the championship pecking order, of course. If you've won the championship already, go out and enjoy this race and send yourself off through the winter break. If it's been a bit of a year to forget, you can try and take a bit of solace in this Grand Prix, end on a high and carry that energy into next season.
If you go away from this weekend having not given it everything, you're going to be devastated and disappointed for months. So let's get out there and give it a really strong finish and leave it all out on the track. So everything looks good on the power unit cycles, so let's concentrate on bringing tyres and brakes up to temperature. Okay, incredible parking there, nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get a good launch as the race starts. rest zone. Experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible. Approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums. Got a lot of spare energy, okay to use your overtake button. Fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. In this lap. Push now. Okay, we can take you this lap. Alonso behind you now. Okay, they're on old softs. Okay, they've got 4 laps on their tyres. We think they've got 1 more stop. Your last lap time, 1 minute 22.2. Okay, be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon. Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach and make sure you don't speed. Last stop, no more scheduled pit stops, let's go. when we use ERS, and let's try and be consistent as you use it moving forward. The car behind's just boxed for mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre now. Job on hitting that target, mate. Right, we need to get past here. Use overtake, use overtake. So let's have a big push and use it all up. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, nice work. Really good job with that target, mate. Keep on him, he might make a mistake. But be aware, these tyres need to go the distance. are the world champion. What a drive, what a season. Well done.
And with that, another year of Formula One draws to a close and a new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers. Here's the checkered flag, and here's our winner today. Hats off to Ollie Bearman.
And they're just starting to make it look easy out there. Now a hat-trick of wins. They're out there ahead, they've got the momentum on their side, and it's for the others now to try and up their game to stop that energy that they have.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. So let's celebrate the end of the season, but I know a lot of you will be very sad out there thinking, what are you going to do without Formula One? Don't worry, folks, it'll be back before you know it. We'll see you next year.